Morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Come on in. Thank you for tuning in. Let's wrap up the day. How did it go? Probably one of the easier days, I think. If you have the algorithms and being patient, isn't it? Let me know. How's it going? Keep me posted in the Share Your Trades channel here. I review it every night. I have not today yet, but I will shortly. So just keep me posted here. Right, let's go. Let's run through. Nothing surprising. We prepared for this, isn't it? And especially end of day. The best thing that can happen in day trading is if a precision algorithm decides to grace us in power hour. Let me tell you, this is the most lucrative thing that can ever happen to you in the day. When the precision algorithm, something you identified early in the morning, decides to grace you in power hour. So, this is great. And this isn't something that you were not prepared for, isn't it? Because of this blue algorithm right there. I do live analysis here. If this is your first time watching this, I don't know why you would get the link, but yeah, here you go. Welcome anyway. Blue algorithm, right? When was this? This was at 1:40 p.m. I mean, it's quite straightforward by now. 1:40 right here, right? I will explain this setup in a bit. 1:40 p.m. and you understood. Yeah, 1:40 p.m. is here, and you will understand the 5-day moving average and the blue rhythm. Now I mentioned wait for the cups to close. So once we broke out of that, you see how the inverse cup closed. Wait for the magenta to build more liquidity here, and you see the 5-day turn into some sort of resistance, in this case of that beautiful head and shoulder pattern right there, activating the green precision algorithm already appeared prior to this, right? So you see how beautiful that trade is now. There is another confirmation in this trade, and there is the teal turn into resistance as well. So this was an absolutely beautiful trade. Now you live for trades like that when the precision algorithm appears at the end of day, right? So wow, this is a really great trade here. Now you have to understand how to be preparing for trades like that. One big reason or preparation for the trade like that will be understanding this pink algorithm. Now you see it comes together. I told you this didn't have enough time for this to materialize, but you can understand that the path is the same. It's the same way down, and that's why we were preparing for this. There is, well, in a way, it's a larger zombie that happened. Now let me explain. Much earlier in the day, now remember I talked about this much earlier in the day once we started closing the cup. I told you I wasn't very comfortable with that cup close. Let me just find where is it. Yeah. Anyway, I mentioned that the cup's closed, and I wasn't very comfortable with that. Yeah. Cup is closed, not in a way I would prefer. Right, this was at 10:28. A little overshot will be better. So this was a very clean cup close. I'm not too comfortable with that. And that's why you see that the handle didn't really materialize. Right, but we prepared for that anyway, because we had that magenta algorithm. Just take a look how penny perfect it is. And that is exactly why, because it didn't break out of that cup. If it started to form a handle here, if this was the handle that started forming, it didn't break out. So it created some liquidity here. You notice that. But after which it did grab liquidity from that 5-day moving average. And just take a look how beautifully teal started building the liquidity there. Penny perfect right there. Now, this isn't the great cup that you want to be waiting out for, although we did prepare for this on that 5-day retest here, which is important to understand, this 5-day retest here. Now, I talked about this 5-day retest here, and you have to understand this. This was at 10:30, right before the cup closed. I mentioned this. So 10:30 was thereabouts. Right, it will be ideal if we had that 5-day retest. So you see the cups closed, and you have that 5-day retest. You see the teal starts to build liquidity here, and it grabbed the liquidity here. Take a look. Can you see the shoulders that's forming, especially of this teal? It's just absolutely beautiful, penny perfect right there. Now, the only problem with this was that it didn't break out in a strong enough precision algorithm there, and that's fine, because all you got is to protect your trade right here. That's all that you need. Allow your runners to run up slightly. You'll still have a 1 2 point trade right there. Absolutely beautiful, right? So understand this, but yet you also understand that this cup was not ideal to me, and I'll explain that later, because after which we started forming a larger cup here. That's what I was talking about with the pink algorithm right there. Just take a look right there, and you see that the market may be building more liquidity with that larger cup right there, because there is a larger cup in play in the 30-minute chart, and you have to understand that. See that now? And this is important because we talked about cup close as well, and this will be what I want to talk about later to prep for tomorrow as well. So quite straightforward day, isn't it? When you see the blue already tapering there, when you see the inverse cup closing, and the market was very kind to us to give us a final per hour trade with the precision algorithm with a clear breakout of the range. So if you set alerts at 5-day moving average, you will not miss this, isn't it? Right at this point in time, at this point at 140, right here, you set your alerts, you prepared, right? You would have saved about 2 hours before the trade materialized, because you would have seen the trigger and waited for structure, and you would have caught the trade there. Absolutely beautiful, right? So there are some nuances here which I want to talk about in this weekend's training video, but generally it's quite straightforward day. Now let's prepare for tomorrow. Nothing's changed, isn't it? The best thing about what's going on is that the market has created two very beautiful pockets of liquidity. One where the 5-day moving average is, one where the 20-day moving average is. But the bad news is we are in the liquidity wedge, and the market may take till next week for the move to materialize. Now remember, this liquidity that was built from yesterday, you still have to be very mindful of that, because the market can grab it. So I want to see what selling it is. With this continual selling, then you have to be very mindful of this liquidity here. Otherwise, always wait for cups to close. You're absolutely all right. You're never going to miss out. If this wants to dump, it will break below the 20-day moving average to where the bottom Bollinger is. So don't have to worry about missing out. Just be patient and allow the market to reveal itself to you, and then you trade as structure demands. Otherwise, you notice that we are already grabbing the liquidity here. You see that, right? I talked about this in yesterday's video, especially off that green algorithm here. So you see, when we are early, the market may decide to grab more liquidity to build an inverse head and shoulder pattern here, right? So I wouldn't really call this cup close yet, but yet you can see the idea behind it. And so you just have to pay more close attention to this if the market decides to grab the liquidity at this level. So you see the liquidity here, 5-day moving average. If I'm not wrong, let's see here. 3. Yeah, so just pay close attention to this green liquidity. That's very clearly intently built by the pink on the 1 minute already that we have seen here. Now, by then, let's see. 5-day will still be thereabouts where we are. So there shouldn't be too much change in the levels of the liquidity here. So you just have to pay close attention to that. But Friday, remember, it's a very dangerous day. So if we get pinned in the wedge, you just have to be more mindful. If we do not sell strongly and the precision algorithms, or even buy in the precision algorithms on the breakout with the green, right, you just have to be more careful. Do not overtrade on Friday. Keep it light, keep it simple. Right. Thank you very much for watching. We'll keep this short today, but quite a straightforward day. If you did well, well done. Likewise, if you didn't do as well as you expected, right, a few things you have to know. The first is that everything is a feedback loop to you. So you have to fix problems. Don't be escaping problems. Now you can't, for example, know that you have a gas leak at home and you decide to do nothing about it. You see what I mean? That's the feedback loop that comes to you. You know that it will eventually lead to something very disastrous. The feedback loop is a feedback. It's a neutral information. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just feedback. So you have to receive the feedback and do something about it. So always remember, if you take accountability, if you just lay the information in a neutral way, don't get personal with yourself, right? Stop villainizing yourself, stop victimizing yourself, stop making yourself worse or worse than you are. And from then, you are able to truly be better, right? So don't worry about if you did badly today. That's fine. The beautiful thing about what we do, it's that everything is explainable. You're no longer guessing, or you're no longer depending on luck to make money. So you have to understand how to break it down, and from there you have actually very useful and actionable feedback. You understand that, and when you're able to have that, you can be better the next day. So it's important, and this is the difference if you trade with something that is proper versus trading with something that's just based on gut feelings, based on signals. You will never learn that way, because if you have a bad day, you take the negative emotions and you compound it by drinking, by doing things that are totally counterproductive to you, and they do not act on that information to make yourself better. But in our case, you have something that you can explain. Even in hindsight, you can explain it. That's good enough. It means that you have certain level of skill. You can be able to deconstruct this and break it down and actually know what you're doing. And from there, you take the neutral information. You get better at this. And the next day, you have learned something. The next day, you have learned something, and it all accumulates. Just like wealth, knowledge accumulates. Your experience accumulates. So you allow it to accumulate, and you allow it to compound. But you don't just forget about what happened today, or you take that information and you do destructive things to yourself, like blaming yourself, villainizing yourself, or even going out to make yourself feel better by subjecting yourself to vices. You see that. So I want you to understand you are at a very strong foundation. Make good use, take advantage of the foundation there. All right. So don't worry. If you had a bad day, so be it. Remember, as I always tell you, what's the worst that can happen to you? You're not in a very bad state. If you can click buttons, if you can make money sitting on a chair, you're absolutely fine in life. All right? There are people who have had it worse than us. And that's the thing. When you are able to internalize and have gratitude, know your portion and know the situation you're in, you're able to focus. And the key word here is focus. Focus on what you need to do for the next step. Focus on what you need to do ahead in order to get better. And just focus on surviving the night. I always tell you that. You have to survive the night. Just survive the night. And tomorrow, you'll be fine. Trust me, you get good sleep. You wake up, you'll be like, I see. Everything's fine now. But if you do things you regret today, tomorrow you wake up with more regrets. And some of them are irreversible. Now, clarity of mind is so important. Because most of the decisions, nobody in life wants to make bad decisions. But the problem is we allow bad decisions to be made for us, right? We leave ourselves no choice. But once we have clarity, it's too late usually. Because we have already made bad decisions and we have to take another bad decision to cover the previous one that we made. Nobody in life wants to fail. But we set ourselves to fail. You realize that. So none of us here have the desire to fail or have the heart to fail. And none of us are actually worse than what we think we are. We make ourselves worse than we think we are because we allow it to happen. So the first step to prevent that is to stop allowing it to happen. Don't allow it to happen. You have to rise up above it and you have to have clarity in your mind. You must have purity in your heart and you develop focus in that way. When you're more focused, every information that comes to you becomes useful. Every information, every feedback that comes to your life, you're able to act on it. Right? You're feeling fat, for example. That's the thing. It's a feedback. What are you going to do about it? That's the thing. A lot of times we have information, right? Something's broken at your home. Something's broken at home. What are you going to do about it? Are you just going to leave it there? The next 10 years, sometimes, you realize that all these are feedback, information, and how you deal with it shows your inner mind, your inner spirit. It shows your focus. So I want you to focus, wrap up the day strong. That's why we have daily wrap-ups, right? We want to make sure that we consolidate and we review for the end of day and we prepare ahead for the next. Because by the time tomorrow comes, you're ready, you're all prepared, you're at least 5, 6, 7, 10 steps ahead of your competition, right? And you can take that spare time to prepare ahead and do what's next. Now, this is great, right? This is fantastic. I want to take a look at the charts here again. Now, you get 2 points up and down, right? You can't complain about this. Because if you want big movements, you are going to have big movements. So the trick is very simple. Some of you just have to... you have to realize when you take a trade that's wrong, you're either too early or too late. Right? So if you're too late, don't force the trade. If you're too early, then be patient and wait. So this is why we have reviews. At the end of the day, you review and tell yourself, at what point is it better for you to take the trade? At what point is it better for you to scale down to take a trade? At what confirmation do you have to wait in order for you to take a better trade? Because if you want big moves that breaks out of the 5-day moving average, for example, you cannot lament chop. And that's the thing. Why are you trading this chop when you have already identified the the liquidity wedge right there? If you were trading this, and I warned you, if you're trading the chop, you better know what you're doing, isn't it? So that's the beauty of the algorithms. If you're able to identify the algorithms to the penny, you know exactly when not to trade, more than just knowing when to trade. Now, review. All right, if you did badly today, review, because today, from what I see, it's a day you can make money. Absolutely. But if you had 1-2 bad moments, it will derail your day, and you realize it's got nothing to do with the charts. Because once you get derailed, you allow yourself to make bad decisions. So how do you receive that feedback for yourself and work on it? Now, real talk, yeah. It's the first few weeks of January. How's your progress? If you're not stepping up, then ask yourself: is this the right time to give up? First couple of weeks of January, and you decide to give up. Oh man, I think that feedback, you have to use that feedback and do something better about that. All right, for yourself. If you want to give up, you give up. You either give up at the end of the race. At least I'll give you. I'll give it to you that you have did your utmost best, or you give up. You have to give up. Die trying. Nobody gives up in the first couple of weeks of January. Something is absolutely bonkers if you decide to do that now. Now, does it make sense to you now that I put it in words? All right, so survive the night, review. Right, this is why we're doing this every night. Yeah, review. And most importantly, set alerts and go away. What's the problem with that? I set alerts and go away. And sometimes you must take that as a cue. You see that? I love trading, you know that. Now, if I do that, you must take that as a cue. And when you set alerts, you're not going to miss You're not going to miss anything. If you set alerts at the wedge, if you set alerts at 5-day, now on hindsight, when you review this, do you see, wow, you still have caught this with absolutely avoiding that. Now, why do you want to catch this move? Well, let me tell you, if you took something here with the strike that's here, okay. If you check the history of the options chains, I'm quite sure you can get it at the same price here. Maybe with a 10-20% additional premium. That's it. It's probably the same price here because it's so out of the money and because of the precision Ugrim that showed up later. So why are you rushing this? Don't rush this. We have a long year ahead. The course hasn't even started. We're starting this weekend. We have a meeting tomorrow with the lifers, so please, lifetime members, just stay tuned tomorrow. I'll provide you the link later. So we got this, yes, yeah. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Opening bell tomorrow, please. Time to trade lightly. Right, just prepare. I'm a little worried about this wedge here. Hey, but if the market decides to give us something out of the wedge, I don't mind. I don't mind on a Friday. All right, so pay close attention to the wedge, the liquidity. You see it happening. The market has built so much liquidity throughout the week, and you're ready for this. All right, if we stay in the wedge, then so be it. Allow it. Just allow it to stay in the wedge. What's the problem with that? We'll just gather clues for tomorrow, for next week. And we're going to have fun every single day. Now, the thing about trading is you're having fun, right? Even if you're not trading, you're having fun because you're able to prepare for what's coming next. You know exactly where to set your alerts so you're prepared for what's coming next. And when you do that, you can go do whatever you want. How fun is that? I'd rather have this arrangement than to be grinding every single minute and being so stressed. You have not done that you don't do that at work. You want downtime at work, isn't it? This is exactly it. The market gives you downtime at work. All you got to do, you check in for a 6.5 hour shift, and all you got to do is properly work for 10 minutes and make good money, more than everyone else in the world. You see that. You just need to work 10 minutes at most, maybe 30 minutes. But some of you like to hold a position, let it go green and red, green and red, green and red, and work for 4 hours, staring at the charts, not knowing what to do, just watching a P&L go green and red. That's that a problem? Yeah, you have the wrong mentality when you come to the trading floor. But instead, I check in for the day. I prepare what I need because I have the skill to do that. I plan ahead. I know exactly what the playbook is, and therefore you are able to set alerts. Once you set alerts and you're called into the field to do your thing, you spend 10 minutes, you make more money than everyone else. You check in for work, yes, but you only work for 10 minutes. See the difference? Set your minds properly. Nothing shameful about setting alerts and going away. Even if you miss the trade, so be it. You see, that's the beautiful thing. You don't have to deliver every day. No one's expecting you to deliver. Maybe your family, but yes, you feed your family and you call it a day. It's not that difficult. Yeah, so set your minds right. Sometimes it's the foundation. Get the feedback right, and then you get the feedback right and you're able to make a better from feedback. But remember, as I tell you, stop villainizing yourself, stop victimizing yourself. It's absolutely all right. Everyone has bad days, good days. And if you had a good day, that's the same story. Don't get complacent, don't get arrogant, because it's the same neutral feedback. What are you going to do on that feedback? Are you going to work on improving your entries? Are you going to work on becoming better? Are you going to work on where have you done badly even though you came out green? Because most of us would be green even if we trade badly, because Lady Luck is on our side. Now, if you can recognize that and you improve, then you're also getting better day by day. Now, this is a lifetime skill. You see that. It's stackable. So I want you to stack this skill, because eventually, over time, if you have done this for 10 years, for 5 years, you don't even need that long. Maybe 3 years if you do it daily. You'll be so good. You don't have to worry, because this is a stackable skill. 3 years worth of experience is going to be 3 years worth of experience. What do I mean? Because some of you go to work, you think you have 3 years worth of experience, but actually you only have 1 week of experience that is done over and over again for 3 years. You see the difference? So you don't truly have 3 years worth of experience. So when you're trading, are you clocking up your experience, or are you living the same day over and over again? You tell me you've been trading for 5 years, but no, you have not, because you have not progressed from one day to another. Every day you're guessing, every day you're gambling. You're not truly with 5 years experience in trading. You only have 1 day experience, and you're just repeating that day over and over again, which is gambling, which is guessing. So do it properly this year. Yeah, it's just 15th of January. We're barely halfway there in the month. Take it easy, man. Right? If you're overscaling right at the start of the year, something is wrong. Right? No one goes to the casino and first bet goes all in. Then you have a deep, deep problem. Let's talk about that too. Yes. Right? Let's pray about that. Let's talk about that. I will have in the separate live stream. All right. Now, pick yourself up. Let's wrap up the week strong. The weekend is ahead of us. Let's enjoy the weekend. It's ahead of us. Let's focus. Get tomorrow done up. Lots of administration to be finished over the weekend in the group. Right? We have meetings. We have bigger plans ahead. More than just the charts and day trading, isn't it? So stay focused. We got this. Yes. Yeah. All right. I'll see you. Opening bell tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Thank you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you. Thank you very much.